The night she asked me, the rain was falling sideways, driven hard by the kind of wind that makes old windows rattle like they're afraid of what's coming. I remember because the sound matched my chest, tight, restless, warning me before my mind could catch up. She stood in my doorway with wet hair plastered to her cheeks, mascara smudged into shadows under her eyes, and a tremor in her voice that didn't belong to the woman I'd trusted with every secret for over a decade. Just one night," she said. Please." If I had closed the door then, everything would have stayed clean. Friendship intact, lines unblurred, futures unbroken. But I didn't. I stepped back, and the storm came in with her. I met Maya Calder when we were 19, the first week of college, both lost in a city that moved too fast and promised too much. She was loud in the way quiet people wish they could be, quick to laugh, fearless in conversation, generous with warmth. I was the opposite, careful, observant, the kind of person who listened first and spoke only when necessary. Somehow, we fit. We grew up together in that strange adult-in-training way. Late-night coffee runs, shared playlists, breakups dissected on the kitchen floor. When my father died, she slept on my couch for 3 nights without asking. When her mother got sick, I learned how to cook soup that tasted like home. We knew each other's flaws and forgave them automatically, like breathing. The unspoken rule was simple. We were safe with each other. We were safe with each other. No complications, no crossing lines. Until life started pushing Maya toward a cliff she pretended not to see. The man was named Ethan Rowe. On paper, he was perfect, successful, charming, adored by her family. In real life, he was polite in public and distant in private, generous with gifts and stingy with presents. Maya told me this in fragments at first, like she was testing whether the truth would collapse under its own weight if she said it all at once. "He's just busy," she'd say, staring at her phone. "He doesn't mean it like that. He'll change." I didn't argue. I knew better. You don't tear down someone else's hope. You wait until it cracks on its own. The cracks came quickly. Missed anniversaries. Dinners canceled at the last minute. A promotion that mattered more than her tears. By the time she admitted she was lonely, the words sounded foreign in her mouth. That's when she started showing up at my apartment more often. Too often. The night everything changed. She arrived soaked, shaking, and furious at herself for caring so much. She kicked off her shoes, paced the living room, and talked in circles about love, about fear, about how she didn't recognize the woman she'd become. "I don't want to go home," she said finally. Zarzed, finally. "You can stay," I replied without thinking. "You know that." She stopped pacing, looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time, and the weight of that look made the room feel smaller. "That's not what I mean." Silence stretched. The rain hammered harder, as if urging us forward. "I just need to feel wanted," she whispered. Upridden, this one night. No consequences. No promises. Every instinct I had screamed that this was a terrible idea. That love built on desperation collapses. That friendship doesn't survive bargains like this. But there was something raw in her eyes, something breaking, and I made the oldest mistake in the book. I believed I could save her without losing myself. Okay, I said. The word landed like a dropped glass, sharp, irreversible. We didn't talk about it the next morning. She left early, quiet and careful, like someone walking away from a crime scene. I told myself it would be fine. Adults make choices. We'd move on. But life doesn't respect denial. Maya became distant, then clingy, then distant again. Our conversations turned cautious. Each sentence weighed for double meaning. When she finally ended things with Ethan, she didn't celebrate. She unraveled. That's when the real challenges began. The first challenge was guilt. Maya blamed herself for everything. The relationship, the night with me, the fallout that followed. She replayed moments endlessly, searching for the exact second she could have chosen differently. I tried to reassure her, but reassurance can't compete with shame. It only grows louder when it's ignored. The second challenge was truth. Ethan didn't disappear quietly. He wanted explanations. Closure, control. When he found out she'd leaned on me, his anger wasn't about betrayal. It was about losing ownership of the narrative. He accused. He threatened. He tried to pull her back into the orbit she'd barely escaped. And the third challenge, the hardest, was us. We were standing on the ruins of something precious, pretending it was solid ground. One night, weeks later, Maya showed up again. No rain this time. Just exhaustion. "Can't do this," she said. "I can't pretend we're okay." Then don't," I replied. She sat across from me, hands clasped tight. I asked for one night, because I was afraid of being alone. But I think I've been alone for a long time. The words hit harder than I expected. What do you want now? I asked. She didn't answer right away. When she did, her voice was steadier. I want to face myself, and I don't think I can do that if I keep leaning on you the way I have. It hurt, but it was honest, and honesty, even when it cuts, is a kind of respect. So we made a choice. Distance. Boundaries. Boundaries. Time. The months that followed were quiet in a way that felt unnatural. I missed her laugh, her impulsive texts, the comfort of knowing someone understood me without explanation. But I also learned something important. Loneliness doesn't disappear when you fill the space with another person. It's like another person. It disappears when you learn how to stand in it without collapsing. Maya went to therapy, changed jobs, moved to a smaller apartment with better light. She stopped apologizing for taking up space. I did my own work, learning that being someone's safe place doesn't mean sacrificing your own stability. That love, in any form, requires clarity. We didn't rush back into friendship. We rebuilt it slowly, brick by brick, with conversations that were honest instead of easy. A year later, we sat on a park bench, watching the city breathe around us. Do you regret it? She asked suddenly. I thought about that night, the rain, the choice, the consequences. I regret that it took pain for us to learn what we needed, I said, but I don't regret choosing compassion, even when it was messy. She nodded. I asked for one night, because I thought that's all I deserved. That's all I deserved. Turns out, I deserved more from myself most of all. The sun dipped behind the buildings, casting long shadows that didn't feel threatening anymore. Some lines, once crossed, can never be erased, but they can become lessons instead of scars. Maya and I didn't become a love story. We became something quieter and stronger. Two people who faced their worst moments and refused to let them define the rest of their lives. If there's a message in all of this, it's simple and hard-earned. Never confuse desperation for desire or fear of being alone for love. And never underestimate the power of choosing yourself, even when it costs you something you thought you couldn't live without. That night started with a plea. It ended with a beginning.